Someone get Max's mom on the phone because Republicans be fucking goofy again.
Go watch his video. That one's a little bit older. I'm behind on stitches. Sorry, guys. But is anybody else sick and tired of the government shutdown stuff? There was that Jeff Daniels clip where he talks about why nobody likes liberals is because they lose. And this is a good example of that. The negotiations with the threats of shutdown need to stop. If you're not aware of what happens in those, he doesn't talk about in there, but here's how the process goes, right? The budget process comes up where they need to renew the budget so they can, have money to do basic things like operate the government and pay for the military and stuff. There's this process where Democrats are like, hey, we need to get this funding going. They prepare a spending package and they send that over to Republicans to look at. I'm really simplifying here because it's usually like when it's Democratic controlled House, they set up that budget and then it gets sent over to Republican Senate, and then Senate just was like, no, I'm not doing it. And then what happens is the Senate makes their own budget and they fill it with a bunch of crap. Most people refer to that as pork, pork in the bills. They fill it with a bunch of extras that aren't necessary, and generally that budget stuff is where they start fulfilling those promises to their donors is what they do and stuff. One of the areas they do it in. And then Democrats go, oh no, we don't like that, and then Republicans go, fine, if you want to, we'll just let everything collapse. And the problem is in my entirety of being alive, not once, not a single time have Democrats stood their ground and just let it shut down and burn to the ground. That's how it has to be done. These negotiations can't be done anymore because it's always Republicans getting what they want. Things get worse for the country. Inflation goes up. Cost of everything else goes up outside of inflation. Industries get these breaks and get these bonuses, and the American person, the average American, gets screwed. And all the while, Democrats are like, well, we did it. We reached across the aisle. And I hate that. Nobody's reaching across the aisle. There is no reaching across the aisle. You're being bent over a desk. That's what's happening. You're being bent over a desk and then smiling about at the end. And as soon as the Republicans finish, you're like, I'm glad we got it done. This is why I don't like Democrats, because when it comes to these pressing issues, they don't know what needs to be done. In addition, and he talks about this a little bit, it's put us at risk. China is calling in its debts now. If you didn't know this, if you don't understand the United States enough, we owe a lot of money to other countries because we're borrowing from other countries. So when I read news that says relations with China are bad, I'm not like most people are like, yeah, so what's new? I worry because there is a reality that China can call those debts in. And if you think that's like, well, let them, what are they going to do about it? If we do not have the money to operate this country, we can't defend ourselves. It will not be something we can do. And that's important, because we need to be able to operate things smoothly. But too many people seem to think that as long as the rich stay rich, the country will run fine. See, the rich people, they can just leave. They're not beholden to those debts in China and other countries. You and I are, and we'll be the ones to suffer. But the negotiation stuff has to stop. It has to stop. If Republicans pull this, and it comes up again, and it will, because it always does, then it needs to be Democrat. Every Democrat elected official needs to say, no, here's what we want and that's it. And if you won't do it, we're going to shut the country down. I don't care if Republicans threaten to go on the news and be like, well, this is all Democrats' fault. They do it anyway. They blame you anyway. They sit there and they're like, well, we did it. We don't know how. It was close, but, we did it despite the Democrats being problematic. This has got to stop. Stop negotiating with them. It's not making anything better. So this reach across the aisle needs to stop. I didn't elect the officials to reach across the aisle. I elected them to get the things done that I voiced my opinion to them about. And a lot of people are like-minded when they vote for Democrat on the things they want. And that leadership keeps failing us. But we don't have an alternative. I'm not voting Republican because they share none of the views I have. Why would I vote someone in that I know is going to be detrimental to all of my views and support nothing? As it is, Democrats barely get anything done. So